I can read it, sure.
We're not ready, Charlie.
What?
We're not ready.
Criminal.
We're not ready?
No, 'cause
And
I have
it's,
to get back on Zoom.
It's built on stilts, it's out over the water on the intercoastal, it's cool pool. and
Yeah, I
hot
have to make
tubs and all
those
that stuff.
Very
sorry, old experience.
You good?
Mhm.
Okay, we're back in open session.
All right.
Call it ready, Mr. Snyder?
Sure.
All right.
Yes, I did.
2084.
Okay.
9. Page 9, top of the page.
You'll have a seat in that last chair over there. This is Andrew Stetter.
Howdy.
Andrew, good afternoon.
Sorry for the delay.
Quite all right, I'm sure you
Yeah. Certainly works. Andrew, I've got some administrative to go through before we get started with the meeting matter. Just follow along. I have some questions when I get down to the bottom.
All right.
Open hearing on case number 2084, account 63141. This hearing is being recorded.
Under protest is both Q1 and Q2.
The appraisal review board, they will be hearing your protests today. We do not work for the appraisal district. The appraisal review board is the four of us. Eamon is representing the district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protests. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. The survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. In accordance with tax code section 41.45H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Do we have all your evidence?
I don't have any evidence that I'm providing. I'm just going off based of the information that you guys provided me. So
Okay.
I don't have any additional.
Okay, that's
I
fine.
don't believe I do. I mean, nothing that I have to present really.
Okay. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 4166F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
My turn.
I build up, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 4166.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. Now it's your turn.
I, Amy Setter, do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Thank you.
I am Burke, do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Andrew, I'm obligated to ask if you are a licensed appraiser in the state of Texas.
I am not.
Under that calculator is a sheet that shows the procedure that we'll be following throughout the hearing. And you get to choose whether you go first or Eamon goes first for the district. Which would you prefer?
I mean, I can go first, I guess.
Then you have 5 minutes to state your case.
All right. Well, I know you guys are probably getting sick of hearing all this stuff, but, and obviously I'm not a licensed appraiser, so, you know, I'm just going off the information that you guys presented to me. And here on the 2021 notice of appraisal value cover sheet, it has my last year appraisal value for the market value at $118,000. And then this year it's at $157,000. Or I think that's that's the structure and improvement market value. The total overall is $127,000. last year, and then 170,000 for this year for the proposed 2021. So really, what I am coming here for is just questioning why that value increased, from 127 to 170 in 1 year. The 127,000 is actually $1,000 less than what you guys have it as what I bought in 2017 prior to Hurricane Harvey. And that's coming off of the information here. So, I owned it for 17 to 2020, and it actually decreased $1,000. I mean, I had very minimal damage. The Hurricane Harvey, just basically repairs. I did a few improvements. I don't know if that's presenting data that's not allowed or not, but like I took out the fence, put a different gate in, put a wraparound driveway in, painted the house. That was it. A few things. I don't know if that's allowed to mention or not. But that was all in 2018 and 2019 following Hurricane Harvey, which then the assessment showed that my house in 2020 actually lost $1,000, which doesn't make sense to me, but that's what the paperwork says. And then in 2021, then all of a sudden it goes up, $42,000 just for the house. The value of the land went up $3,500. That's, whatever, but I guess, that's my case. I'm looking for a justification as to why it went up $42,000 from 2020 to 2021.
Okay.
Did I get in my 5-minute limit?
You did?
Yeah.
You had 2 minutes left. Okay,
Short answer is sales. Is what we do is we list every property, describe it, measure it, class it, check what its condition is, that kind of thing. And then any adjustments beyond that are because of market activity, because we're seeing sales come through and, just to speak practically, over time, values are constantly going up because real estate appreciates and inflation, right? So how you keep up with that is you wait until sales happen, and then you look at our model, make sure everything's right, and then you find out what the discrepancy is between what things are really being sold for and what our numbers are, and then you just correct the difference. That's how it works year over year for adjustments. Would you be willing to tell us what your closing price was for your house in 2017? You don't have to.
The total closing, I think, was like 130, 132, something like
Okay.
that. But that was my first house, so that was like literally everything rolled in.
So you had almost no down payment.
Yeah, like my
Okay.
everything. Like I had, I don't know, I'm not a housing guru, but it was like everything was rolled into that very low down payment.
Got it.
Like less than $5,000 or whatever it was. So it was.
So it's pretty close to the.
So it was close to, yeah, I think it was a little above,
It was probably like 133 or something.
yeah, low 130s if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
It's been
okay.
a while, but and you guys had it at
2250.
yeah, so it was maybe like $5,000 more.
Okay, so if you look at the sales grid, we have other properties in this area. This is what's going to indicate this sort of adjustment is what things are being bought and sold for in that area. Yours is a 3SS plus. Yeah. Comp number 2 on 210 Hammer Drive, sold for 135.
Which one is this?
Comp number 2, it's on page 4. I think you're good. I think you're good. Second,
210
end
Hammer
comp.
Drive, okay.
Yeah. 210 Hammer Drive. That's a really good comp. Indicates a value for yours at 150. The median indicated value for your property is 186. So we're supposed to be below the median. That being said, let's just look at it practically speaking. We've got a 138 on Sherwood. It's a 3SS plus. It's about the same size as yours, built in the same year.
What is the 3SS plus?
That's the type of construction. Like a lot goes into that, but it's basically saying that house is pretty like yours. very much like yours, as far as how it's laid out and built, that kind of thing. Those are both really good comps. What is being adjusted? So
What was the second one you used?
Number 4, the last one.
The Sherwood Drive?
Mhm. So let me see here. So yours is, no. Living area is about the same. I don't know why this has such a large net adjustment. What is happening? You have a garage.
I do have a
Okay.
garage.
So there's a garage that's making for a larger net adjustment there. Okay, well. Garage. Smaller. Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think, that's all it is. It's just, we're doing a mass appraisal and the property values just going up.
I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm not arguing that stuff's going up, but it just, to me, from an untrained eye, it seems kind of excessive jump in 1 year.
I agree. Well, I mean, what we're really capturing is the difference between the last time it was updated and now. So from 2017 to now, your property value is skyrocketed. I mean, if you could buy a house for 170, 165 in 2017, median value of a house here is 205 now.
155, that's pretty high.
So
Might
it
explain
is a
too-
lot in 1 year. I get that. Is this your homestead? Do you live there?
I actually rent this house out now.
Oh, okay.
Might explain to him, Eamon, there is a 1.55%, 155% neighborhood adjustment.
That's what that is. That's the adjustment. That's how adjustments get made in that whenever it's just values are increasing. It goes on as either land table changes or neighborhood.
But that's- and
It
that's
hits
the whole
every
neighborhood.
single house, every improvement in the whole neighborhood. Property values are just going up. How much are you renting?
Do I have to answer that?
No, I'm curious. It's not gonna affect your value on this, but I'm curious for how it relates to property value.
I rent it out for $13.50 a month.
Okay, yeah, that seems about right.
While he's got a little bit of time left, Amy maybe didn't answer the question about the 3SS. The appraisal district classes house from 1 to 7. 1 being really poor house, 7 being, the nicest house over Keel Lake Road. And so 3 and 4 are kind of in the middle, and the SS is for standard siding or wood sided house. BV would be brick veneer, is a brick house. So that's kind of their classification of housing you see. Comps here. Okay, so you have 2 minutes. Even went first, right? Yeah. So you have 2 minutes to ask Eamon questions and then 5 minutes.
Oh, he already did.
Oh, he already did his. Okay,
Yeah.
so you have 4 minutes then. 2 for rebuttal and 2 for cross if you have any more questions.
You presented already.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
we just did.
Didn't get too into it.
Okay.
So I have time to rebuttal what you just said then
Yes.
essentially?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so to be clear, like you had mentioned while you were looking at it, you said it did seem kind of steep. But it's something that you guys are sticking by, or is that like, I don't know how this works, like.
Well, excuse me, the appraisal review board does not work for us. So I'm an appraiser and I work here. And our job is to produce a statistical model that accurately reflects market value. And I really do think this value is accurate. Do I think that it's a great deal? No, it's housing prices around here are no longer a great deal. But I think that it's, I think even your renters are getting a good deal.
Yeah.
Like, I think they're getting- So, but the ARB is, they're not doing the same thing.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really have anything else. I mean,
Okay. Okay, Eamon, you have 2 minutes if you need it for
I do.
cross. Okay, let's go to closing then. So you went first, you've got 1 minute. Any final thoughts?
I don't have anything.
Okay. Amy? Okay. All right.
And I assume since you're running out, that all the problems associated with Harvey have been fixed?
Yeah, I mean, all the major stuff has been fixed.
No leaks, no that stuff, roofs intact.
I had a tree that was too close that kind of rubbed some shingles off and was able to do a small repair to that and seems to be fine. Yeah, I don't,
Other than that, it's pretty good shape.
yep.
Looks nice from the outside.
Yes.
My now wife picked up the color on that, which I don't know what picture you guys have, but
Turquoise?
yep.
Okay. And it seems like the district's made their case here. I mean, it's going up because of sales. This house is still less than median for either sales or equity.
I couldn't find anything to hang my hat on.
Yeah. Bill, got any thoughts?
I really don't.
Okay.
I'm looking at the
Regular
photography. Yeah.
And
I was just trying to reconcile the pieces. Oh, you got the main area of the house and then an addition.
Yeah, I saw that and I'm not really sure if you're looking at the improvement thing,
Yeah.
Yeah,
because it says addition, but there's no addition, like it was all the only thing I can think of is it was like a garage
That's
at
what-
first that was then converted
That's
into
what it is.
like an open room. That's the only thing I can think of.
okay, but that is,
It's like part of the main house.
It's
They didn't, like,
14 by
add it.
20, that's a probably such a garage.
got it, okay. Yeah, I wish there was something to do.
Next, I'm gonna make a motion on case ID 2021-2084. Account 63141, when considering both Q1 incorrect appraised market value and Q2, the equity value, that we maintain the 2021 assessed value at 174.20.
I'll second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Andrew, couldn't do anything for you.
Right.
Joey's owning real estate in Rockport.
So what should I rent it out for then? Do that for me.
Well, the thing is like in 20 years ago, you could kind of say whatever your monthly rent is times 100, that's what you should buy the house. for. So if it's 900 a month, you should pay 90 for the house. You can't buy this house for 135. So there's such a distorted relationship between rent
Okay, thank you.
and cost to own. You're starting to build whole neighborhoods. Like brand new houses, 150 brand new tract homes with the full intention of long-term leasing all of them. So, I think that it's fair. It's just that like if you raise their rent and force them to leave, they probably have to leave the whole area.
Where'd you go? What page, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like their house payment's gonna give them a break.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, thanks.
Okay, thank
Do you
you.
own another house? Andrew, do you own another house?
Yeah.
You live there full time?
Yeah.
You need to get it home.
No, he's renting it now.
No, he owns
No, he's got
another
another
house
one.
here.
Oh, his other house needs to be.
Thanks that I
Yeah,
true.
did.
Okay, if not, you need to.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
It's like. Can I do that here if I haven't? Can I check?
Yes, the
Yes.
girls up front. You might want to check, because I didn't see anything on your other account.
All right, thank you.
Uh-huh.
1371. 50 Pam.
That's what it says, but I think she's outside.
Is, well, I shouldn't assume, but.
It'll be an incredible coincidence. Almost said that same thing.
You take our
Leave or she
Our
just-
cell phones out there, but
Okay,
I'll come to the phone.
all right, if you'll have a seat back here. This is Christy Pham. Hi.
Hello.
And she has someone with her. They're coming in from the parking lot. I believe. Yeah. Kind of interpreter situation.
Oh, I see.
Hi, we're back here.
You know what? It'd be interesting to see on a couple of cases, when they load the files to the cloud.
This is Diana.
they could put, like, the case
You can
number
sit right
on
here.
there, 'cause I think that's why they just swap it around like that. 'Cause protest form, there's all the same. It fixes itself, I mean, sort of, but it's still, I bet you might.
Okay, are we ready?
Yes.
Ladies?
Sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
How are
This
you?
is Diane. This is the ARB.
Okay, we're gonna get started, but I've got to go through a script before we can get down to the heart of the matter. So just follow along with me. And I'll ask some questions when we get down toward the end, okay? We're opening a hearing on case number 1371, account 61566. This hearing is being recorded.
Under protest is incorrect appraised market value Q1, and then also Q12 was checked, incorrect appraisal or market value of land under special appraisal for ag use, open space, or other special appraisal. So we protesting both the land and the house?
Just
Or just-
khi đất hơi cái nhà mà trong mình muốn cái đất hơi cái nhà mình muốn
Oh, it's just land.
I'm sorry. Mẹ
No,
nó
there's
biết tại nó tính
There is a
nhà vệ
difference.
sinh giả. She only wants to talk about the taxes on just the taxes overall.
Oh, okay, market value, so it's the Q1 then. So, okay.
We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. This you need to translate for. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. It will come in the mail after this hearing is over.
Cái giấy này nó sẽ vô cái nó gửi vô giờ là mình nói mình chỉ giảm cái phí. She said she doesn't want to appeal anything, just like to lower the tax rate.
That's fine. It's just that it will,
She
it
has
will
that
come,
option.
it's a matter of course that we send out this letter that includes the determination of value and instructions of what to do if you want to appeal. It goes out to everybody who protests.
Nó nói nó gửi ra thôi xong rồi nếu mình muốn thì mình đơn cái giấy ra.
Okay. In accordance with tax code section 4145, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. Robert, could you sit back there a minute? This is important. Do we have all of her evidence on the system?
I didn't bring any evidence or anything, but anything's on the photo thing.
Okay. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 4166F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Bill Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 40.66F.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. So this is important.
Okay, so Diana, you're going to say your name and read the sentence.
Con đọc cái hàng này xong rồi con đi trước xong rồi đi sau. this one, mình bỏ tên. I do Diana Gurison swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct. From the online copy. I do this one, no, then go back. And then that.
I do solemnly swear,
No, I do this one, then go.
I do swear and affirm and testimony I shall present to appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Very good. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, did I not swear in? Okay. My name is Eamon Burke. I do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Okay. Now, you get to make a choice. That's the procedure we're going to follow. And you get to make a choice, Diane, whether you speak first or Eamon speaks first for the district. Who goes first?
Never done this before.
That's
but
okay.
go
You
ahead
just-
and go first.
All right.
Okay,
Okay.
No problem.
okay, Amy, you got 5 minutes.
Okay. I think the best thing to do is I'll present our evidence to the board,
Okay,
kind of at full speed, lingo, jargon, and then during our rebuttal time, maybe break it down a little bit, make it a little easier. A lot of industry-specific terminology.
Okay.
Okay, the property is 61566. Its value last year was 209,000. This year, its market value was 258,590. There is a $28,000 cap loss on this property because it's homesteaded. So its assessed value is 229,900. This is a single-family residential property at Sandra Drive in Gehalza, behind what used to be Rody's. It's just a house. The $258,000 value is indicated by sales in this area. If you look at the comps in the area, you're going to find comp number 3 is a good comp for being close. It's on Sandra Drive, but it's a 4SS, and the subject is a Superior house. It's a 5MZ. So that 4SS sold for 130, indicating a value for the subject at 253. We're at 258, so that is indicating a negative adjustment. And then the best comp for the improvement is going to be on 11th Street. It sold for 258, which is, if you notice the market value of the subject, there are negative adjustments because the subject is inferior to this property. So indicated value is 242. It ends up being the median. So our data is showing a negative adjustment is warranted based on sales. It's still above what it was last year. And I will point out that whether it matters or not, that it's above the cap loss, but it's neither here nor there because we're all doing the market value. On an equity basis, we have other comps in their houses that are on our roll similarly in the area, 4th Street, 6th Street, Henderson and Myrtle. And in our median equity value is 271, which is a good deal above our value. Even though sales reduction, sales based reduction of value. Sales ratio report shows we're at 99.9. Some are going to be high, some are going to be low. This one's high. Okay, so for you guys, basically everybody's house value is going up because people are just paying more for houses. That's the first. And and the second thing is when we made the change on this house to its new value, our numbers are saying that it was too high. So we're saying that it should be lowered from what it was. So that's the second thing.
giá nhà nó nói mà nó cũng cao, nó cũng nói vậy. Ừ. Cái nó sẽ để mỗi nhà nó kia người ta bán nhà
And the last point is, because this is your homestead, this is your house where you live, there are rules that slow down how fast your value goes up. And it's supposed to save you taxes. That's the point. Is just because everybody's homes are going up super fast,
This is homestead.
your house will go up
Yes.
slowly.
No more than 10%.
28,000.
nhà ở đây á, thì nó sẽ lên cái giá nhà thì nó sẽ lên nhanh hơn. Mà của nhà của mình á, để mình ở đó lâu nó sẽ lên chút chút và không có nhiều hơn nhà mới.
That's pretty much it.
Might explain to them, or I can't. There are two parts to you mentioned the taxes earlier. What we determine here is the value of the home, and then the tax office across town puts a tax rate on it, and then you pay a tax number. We're only assessing the value of your home here. Just want to make that clear. We're not actually determining your taxes. That will be done later in the year.
Nói là ở đây á, mình trả giá cái nhà thôi, không phải cái thuế thì là nó làm nào mình năm mới mình ví dụ trả giá thuế thì phải qua bên thì nói với nó mình chỉ muốn là cái giá là như vậy, nhưng mà mình chỉ muốn là mình nhà thôi cái giá thuế đó. Ồ, nó nói nó sẽ thuế chỗ yeah.
So do we talk to the tax office rather than you guys?
No. Because this is where the process starts here
Bây
is,
giờ mình bắt đầu nói chuyện là cái giá tiền thuế.
First step.
first
This is
step.
the first step.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
I'll
Nói
point
chuyện
out,
ở đây trước rồi sau đó mình nói chuyện bên kia.
the tax rate is the same for everybody. For everybody in every kind of property, the tax rate is the same.
Thì nó nói giá thuế thì mỗi người giống như
okay, you have 2 minutes to ask Eamon questions and then 5 minutes for your presentation, if you need that much time, but
mình được 2 phút, mình được trả lời nó được 2 phút thôi. Nói chuyện cái đó mình hiểu chuyện nhưng mà mình chỉ có tin nó có giảm thuế thôi, còn ngoài ra thì em thuế thôi chứ nhà giảm thuế gì. Okay. Hồi nãy mày nói tại vì chồng của mẹ trên 65 thì mẹ nó xin giảm thuế gì thôi.
She would like to say that her husband is over 65, so is there any way we can go down on the value of the house? Because we're not trying to sell it and anymore. I mean, we've been staying here for over 20 years. We want to keep the house. I mean, we're not trying to like move anytime soon, nowhere near 10 years from now. But also her husband is over 60
When did he turn 65?
in April.
In April of this year.
He needs to be
On the
the
deed.
owner of the property.
Đây mình sẽ điền trên cái nhà. Tại vì ở đó là tên mẹ không à. Cho nên mẹ
Well, it kind of is there. Well, but it needs to be on the deed. That's easy. Yeah.
thì nói vậy thôi.
So if the property was in his name or both of your name, you and him together, then his exemption goes on the whole property. And it will go down a little bit. $10,000 is taken off of the value, but then your taxes are frozen,
Yeah,
which is the
as-
best thing, and you really should do that. If you're planning on staying there and he's planning on staying there, you should get his name on
Nó
here so
nói
you
nó
can get
phải
that.
mày phải bỏ tên khẩu triệu cho nên ghi giấy. Thì cái nhà thì được rồi nó xuống 10.000 Rồi nó cái thuế, giá thuế thì nó không có, nó ngưng quá, không có lên nữa. Thì
You should do that this year if possible.
nó nói là năm nay thì tốt hơn. Em thấy là tốt.
It's the right time to do it since he turned 65, he said in April.
And
Yes,
they have a cap plus this year.
yes,
Yeah.
right, exactly.
Can you explain to me what a cap?
That's related to the homestead exemption that you have, where your appraisal can only increase by 10%, no more than 10% a year. So if their appraisal, I'm sorry, their assessed value, the assessed value cannot increase by more than that. If your appraisal goes up by more than 10%, that difference above 10% is what's called a cap loss. And all that means is just, yeah, your appraisal went up, but it's limited to how much you're going to get taxed because of this homestead exemption that you have. Did I say that right? Okay. Now, in addition, since this year, the way your appraisal was $258,590, there was a $28,000 cap loss. You know, there's additional beyond the 10%. All right. Now, since we're going to probably decrease your appraisal from 258 down to a smaller value based on what Eamon presented, your cap loss, you still will incur a cap loss, but it's not quite as much. Okay. I think it's only probably about $2,000 or $3,000. But having said that, getting your over 65 exemption will lock in your taxes so that even though with the exemption, with the homestead exemption, your appraisal may be going up, not more than 10% a year per se, but your taxes will not increase, even though your appraisals have gone up.
They're in the town of Fulton.
Oh.
Town of Fulton does not freeze.
Oh, at least
I mean, it will-
for,
Majority of
Yeah.
taxes.
Right.
your county, the
The
county
school.
taxes
The
and the
school.
school district taxes will freeze. Your Fulton city taxes do not freeze.
Navigation.
And
And
navigation.
navigation district, which is really small. Was that more?
Still a good thing.
Thì vì mình ở Phú Tỉnh á, nó không có
Just
trường
about
học ở
2
đó.
minutes.
Mà nó nói nó khi nào mình
Probably
bỏ
cut to
tiền
the
của
chase
thì
after.
nó nói nó giá
Did I say all that
trường,
right?
cái was it the school taxes and what was the other one?
And county,
Và cái county vậy. Hai cái đó nó sẽ tùy từ tuổi của chị. Nếu mà mở chị lên nó cái hai cái kia nó không có tùy thì cái đó mình ở ngoài vâng.
okay?
Nó nói nó không sẽ lên hơn 10% của cái giá tiền của mình. Cái nhà 2.058.000 đó nó không có lên nhiều hơn cái nhà mà mới xây. Cái nhà mà mới xây thì nó lên hơn 10% cái thuế đó. Nó tổng hỏi thì nó áp tiền của việc vô nó tốn tiền. That's why nó thấy cái đó ra cái nhà của mẹ đúng, nó ngưng cái okay, bây giờ mẹ cái thuế của mẹ đúng 2.000 3.000 phải không, thì nó đứng luôn, nó đứng luôn tới chừng nào rồi mẹ tới tuổi nó không có lên nữa, nó không có xuống, nó không có lên, nó ngưng đó.
Okay, all right. You're just about out of time. Eamon, you'd have 2 minutes if you need it for,
I do not.
okay. Closing, any, Amy, do you minute to close? Okay. Any final thoughts that you have?
Không nói gì nữa. Mình nói hết rồi, thì nói bây giờ mình ở đó lâu rồi mà mình không có tính cái nhà đâu.
All right. So I'm going to make a motion on case ID 2021-1371, account 61566, when considering Q1 incorrect appraised market value. I move that we lower the appraised value of this property from $258,590 down to $242,980.
All in favor?
Hi.
Okay, so we lowered your appraised value, but because it was homesteaded already, your taxes are still gonna go up some, but they're limited. So the best thing you can do is to get this over 65 exemption.
To do that, you have to transfer the property to him and you. His name has to be on there. And
Thì
that'll,
nó nói nó
Thì
bớt
cái-
tiền rồi đó thì không hay đây mẹ là chủ nhà mua nhà quét trả nhà nữa nó nói nó bớt tiền rồi đây mẹ là người chủ của cái nhà đó bây giờ nó bớt
Last one, 130.
rồi bây giờ nó bớt được là nó sẽ mẹ được
Last name, Layman.
nó bớt tiền rồi bây giờ nó bớt hơn nữa.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
130
You did
back
great.
in
It's hard to do in one language.
Case
much less two.
107.
I have that problem trying to talk to anybody, not in English about my job, because there's so many words we use. I don't know how to. say
Yeah,
it.
that's why I would say like break down the word for me, because
Yeah, it's like, what is it? How do
None
I
of us
say-
can do it in Vietnamese.
How do I say homestead exemption in Spanish? I don't know.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you. You guys have a great day.
You
too.
Thank you.
2107?
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? I bet it's not on there. We
I
did
can't
add
find
it
it
on.
either. Yeah, I don't
So,
have it.
yeah,
Okay.
it's in the,
In the tablet?
it is with the protest
Oh, my
form.
tablet died.
Oh, can I bring you a property owner one? I know you won't have Connect Explorer, or I
No,
can plug
that's
you
fine.
in.
I
Let me
just need the
plug you
property
in.
ID and he can look online if he
Yeah,
wants.
it's 70742. Let's see.
More metal stuff.
He's special.
He's gonna step out for a minute. Hi. I'm on fire.
Ready, fire, aim.
Oh, it died dead. I said it died dead.
At
It died dead,
1%.
Yeah. You-
No, some lights went on.
Yeah.
There we go. He doesn't have any evidence that he turned in. Scott, you got enough percentage on there?
Yeah, I got my doolally thing here.
And Eamon, you're okay?
25%. Yay.
Yeah, don't say that.
Here, watch me on.
I feel like 6 times. One of the last 2. Steve's was pretty interesting. Especially the contentious parts, it was fun.
Right.
I'm reading a book by,
Arthur's this.
no. The author's done a whole series of these things. It's about a guy named Quinn Colson, who's a sheriff in a Mississippi county.
I think my wife has read some of it.
Yes,
Yeah.
well, and they've got 2 of the characters in this book that he's been going after are these just low life reprobates, right? They're roofers who love to go out and poach deer and stuff. Of course, in that area, a lot of people do it, but their claim to fame is how quickly they can. You got it, man. How quickly they can gut a deer and skin a deer, right? Which they of course apply to people.
Oh.
And I mean, these are just lowlights that really shouldn't be allowed to exist. And this guy that he was talking about on that call, I've read some articles, paper about it. I mean, this guy sounds like a real. You wonder how he is allowed to exist.
The story has always been that he basically just never really actually paid for it, just claimed
Good.
it. Squatted rights.
Okay, you mean his.
Yeah.
Okay, it's Colleen.
It's alive again. It's alive. I tell you, it's alive.
Oh, we can fix that.
This is
Howdy.
Stephen
Man,
Clayman,
he was right, they are when he gang up. How are y'all doing?
back there in that chair.
And this one or this one?
The big one there, yes.
Oh. How y'all doing? Good.
Stephen Clayman.
Stephen. Stephen, I have some administrative I need to go through before we get down to the meat of the matter.
Yes, sir.
If you could just follow along with me, I'll have some questions towards the end. We're opening a hearing on case number 107, account 70742. This hearing is being recorded.
And under protest is Q1 incorrect appraised market value.
We are the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protests today. We do not work for the appraisal district. The review board is the 4 people around the table here. Eamon is the district representative. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. At the end of this hearing, a document will be created with our determination of value in it and instructions and information for you to proceed if you want to appeal our value. In accordance with tax code section 4145H, all written material that has not been provided must be provided at this time. This is important. Do we have all your evidence?
Yeah, you have everything you sent me. I have nothing in return because I just have, mine is mainly questions because I need to know how this
Okay.
works.
Okay, that's fine. We can't take something in the middle of the hearing, that's all.
No, I understand that.
ARB members who are concerning the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Bill Duck, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 4166F.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath. Stephen, it's your turn.
I do solemnly swear that or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Please state your name.
Stephen W. Clayton.
And I, Eamon Burke, do solemnly swear from the testimony you shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
I'm obligated to ask if you have an appraiser's license in the state of Texas.
No, sir. Just a plumbing license.
Oh, you see? It's probably worth more. I didn't say that.
I've hired him, he's never hired me, so. it's-
Well,
We know how it works then. There's a document, there's a piece of paper under a Mylar covering, under your
Yes.
papers there. That's the procedure we're going to use for the hearing. There's two columns because you get to choose whether you speak first or whether Eamon speaks first for the district.
I'll let the district speak first on this.
Okay?
Might shed some light on my questions or add more to it.
Can she tell us what last year's values were before we get
It's on,
started?
it's on our front page.
That's the total. And
Yeah.
I'm just wondering what the breakdown was between land and improvements.
Oh, okay.
That's,
Last year's value,
yeah,
Property cost.
because since it's not on our sheets, this is one that got added.
Yeah.
for 2020 or 2021.
2020,
Improvements 182,540. And land 17,100.
thank you,
Bring in total of 199,640.
thanks.
Mhm.
All right. So this is property ID 70742. Last year it was certified at 199,640. This year it was noticed at 333,330. A lot of threes. The last known sale price was in 2018 for 246,242. Property was part of a reevaluation of all of our warehouses and metal buildings and utility buildings and everything all over the whole county. Using an income approach to value. The lease rate that was provided is a blanket lease rate for this kind of property at $8 a foot. And there is a settlement offer for the subject property based on the sale of basically the rest of this property, like the rest of these buildings. It was just recently transacted, and your sale also is a little bit older, but I mean, it indicates that 333 is probably hasn't happened $80,000 in value in the last 3 years. Probably not, you know? Yeah. So that's what that's the source of the settlement offer. There's no anything in there as far as like lease rate, because when you settle an income-based property based on a comparable sale, what you're doing is adjusting the cap rate, not the market rate. Because the market rent, it just is what it is, you know, it's whatever the leases are. There was actually a meaningful change to the indicated cap rate, which was great information to have. You know, the equity grid just shows other properties that have been treated the exact same way. Everything that's WH2 is just given sort of a blanket warehouse treatment for the whole county. That about sums up the evidence.
I have a question for you, Eamon, before we still got time. You show the land, this, strip of land, and you show 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'll say larger warehouses and one, and then 4 little casita looking things or whatever those. Are we talking about all these buildings here?
No,
Or just which
just
one? Which one? Which one?
The one next to the casitas.
Okay,
The man cave.
Yeah, next to the man cave, right.
okay.
That's another deal for me in the county, because, man, we just gotta do something, separate church and state over there. I mean, them people going through my my drive, my front is their drive.
Yeah.
It's the only way in and out, and it's. So I used to have kids ride through their bicycles. inside the shop.
Oh.
Scary.
Put in the work.
And, you know, I do hear up their tires. That may be wrong.
You're aiding and abetting.
Okay,
Yeah, you're right.
okay, Steve, you have 2 minutes for cross-examination if you want to ask Eamon questions, and then 5 minutes to kind of state your case and what you. want to
Okay,
say.
basically, guys, what it's all about is I see where y'all have where y'all adjusted the rate from when we started. And I appreciate that and all that. But my main question, I guess, is for future, how do you come about your tax rate when, the square footage? Are you looking at the building itself as if it was an empty building? Are you looking at it because the building has rental offices, or what, how do y'all look at things like that?
So everything is done by exterior dimensions and the type of property, how it's built out. If it's permanently built out, would affect how it's classed. So it might be, you know, there's different classes of warehouses. Specifying where those breaks should be and what the criteria is for them takes time to develop. And one of the things we needed to see is what are people's leases? Because if it is nicer, it should lease for more, or it should sell for more.
Yeah.
Or it should, you know, there's generally a relationship there. And so if you say, well, this one's nicer, but it doesn't sell for any more, it doesn't lease for any more, then it's not really measurably nicer, you know, it's not worth anything more. That's how you measure it. So I will tell you, the change was precipitated because the state did every other year, they do a property value study, and on the years in between, they do a methods and procedure study and map review. And on the property value study, they said that our warehouses, every single warehouse they appraised, they had a wildly different number than we did. And we couldn't even argue against their number because they were valuing them on income and we were valuing them on cost. And there was nothing we could say that was gonna be a good enough explanation to explain why to rebut their value, even whether they were right or wrong. Some cases they were right and in some cases they were wrong, but we were using the wrong approach to value.
Right.
It's never been done because the only way to do it is you have to buy data and it's expensive. And the board never really wanted to swallow the pill until the state said.
And I understand all that. I guess where I'm coming from on that was, you know, like my wife may own the building. Okay, so our company leases the building from us.
Great.
But which, yeah, it pays for the building. However, all the improvements on the inside actually belong to the tenant. It does not belong to me.
Right.
So when that time comes, I've either got to pay them for that when the company leaves there, or I shut the doors, which whatever. I have no intention to shut the door. But so I guess that was one of my questions. So y'all are based it off of warehouse square footage.
Yes.
Okay.
So what is the lease for your tenant to you personally? Because they're both you, right?
Yeah, they're both me, and the going rate was about $8 a square foot, I believe. I think we came up with $7.69 or something.
Okay.
But what we ended up doing was we leased it back to the company for a little bit more than what y'all said. I think we're at 3,500, and y'all are at 3,200.
Well, yeah, because it typically gets rounded.
Right.
That'll happen. Our numbers are usually more awkward.
And we do what we can afford to do on that.
And
By all means, we don't want to put a bind on the company, and being we have 3 identical buildings down through us, Les was kind enough to show us what he's doing and how he's doing it and everything else. And plus the previous owner, Ron Watson, he's same boat. He told us how to do it. He said, this is what you need to do and all that. So we're learning. I mean, and that's why I'm in here with y'all right now, Cause I'm trying to learn how it works, so when I don't get flabbergasted, when I look at a tax form, and go, holy crap, what's going on here? And I know y'all are doing your job, everything else, that's fine, I get it, but I need to educate myself on how it works and what we're being charged for. Because I can deal with I mean, it just went up so much, that was the kicker.
Right.
And I can't, myself, I can't justify that building being worth that much from where it was a year ago.
Right.
I just can't. I mean, it's not, I know everything in the whole world's went up, but I mean, it was a struggle to get through COVID, and now I'm going, crap, now I got a bigger tax bill. Anyway, that's where I'm coming from on it. It just seems like it's just a little unrealistic on going up that much based on what I paid for it 3 years ago. It's just a little too much for me. And that's where it all boils down to. But anyway, now I understand a little bit more about how it's conducted. Pretty much all I got.
Okay. You'll have more time later. Eamon, you got 2 minutes for cross and 2 minutes for rebuttal.
I don't have it.
Okay.
You use some of Amy's time.
Okay.
This offer, Amy, you had up there,
Yeah.
how was that derived?
It was derived by adjusting the cap rate for this property,
Oh,
because
okay.
we had, the rest of the property was also a transaction. And in talking to that property owner, the lease rate, is just like this property, is about what we thought the lease rate was. But the number that he paid for the whole property was less than the model was predicting. That change is expressed in a market specific cap rate. By doing that, you end up with a cap rate that in effect lowers property value for the whole area.
Right.
So the thing that hasn't come up very much, talk about lease rates and that kind of thing, is that there's a base cap rate of 8, and the tax load is 1.69. Well, once the lease rate is a known quantity, the only thing left is expenses and cap rate. For things that are largely triple net leases, like warehouses, and even when they're not modeled as triple net leases, the cap rate this is the thing that I want more than anything else, is a market specific cap rate. We had no ability to tell the comptroller that using light industrial cap rates for the area, the region between Corpus and Victoria, is not accurate for warehouses in Rockport. There's no ability to make that argument if you don't have the data. And so now we will. That's where that number came from.
Thank you.
And in that calculation, you use $8 or $6 a square foot?
It's based on the actual terms of the other transaction.
Okay. Steve, you have 2 minutes if you need it.
No, sir, I pretty much said my piece. I don't have anything else.
All right. Amy, you got a minute to close if you need it. Okay. Steve, any final thoughts?
No, y'all answered our questions, and the rest of it's up to y'all, and whether y'all think it's fair and accurate, and whatever y'all decide, I'll abide by it. I mean, it's just, not in here to raise Cain about anything so much, it just was a bit disturbing how much it went up at a time.
Yeah.
The first year of adding the property category to the appraisal method was rough. But it's better to have it. It's a little smoother ride after that.
The longer I own it, the more the maintenance cost goes up too. Now that out on that roof, all that rain just roofing can just. Buy a new truck now.
280.
284, 240.
Okay.
40 or so.
I see 240 here.
Okay.
Okay. So
Right.
I'm going to make a motion then on case ID 2021-107, property ID 70742. When considering Q1 incorrect market value, that we lower the 2021 assessed value from $333,330 to $284,240.
I'll second. All in favor? Aye. Okay, we gave you a little help.
Yeah, I appreciate that, guys. Really do. And I appreciate y'all patience and thank you for explaining things to me a little bit better.
Yeah.
It's hard to just look at the paperwork and understand what's going
I
on.
probably would have had a phone conversation with you about this, but our office was underwater and my computer was in a box for a week.
And I started to call and I said, well, you know what? You know me, I'm face-to-face type person.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, y'all have a great day.
Okay, thank you, Steve.
Take care. One more,
I just need to stand up.
One more in the 1:30.
one more. Period.
Good. Well, I'm gonna take a quick break. A semi-quick break.
So is this in the 3 o'clock docket, this last one?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just curl up in a fetal position.
This is essential oils, I guess, maybe.
Essential oil.
We'll make menthol cigarette much longer.
One of my older brothers used to work with a guy, this is back in the 80s. And he was
My legs are
a
cold.
reformed smoker. And he said the guy would walk around, he's
And I
from
wore
the
jeans
military.
yesterday and I
He'd
thought,
walk
it's gonna
around
be
with
hot
a
as crap.
a pack in his pocket, one rolled up in his
Just looking at my
sleeve, whatever, 2 or
daughter's,
3 in his briefcase. And my brother asked him, why?
My
you
daughter's
smoke?
schedule.
Why do you do that? He
Online,
said,
she's
"I
a
told
junior this
myself,
year.
if I ever
She's not
smoke
early
one
release.
more
I'm like,
cigarette, I'll
how did you
smoke
get
it."
early release? She was
Every
like,
one
good
of
job,
those
mom.
back to back.
I'm like,
chain
huh.
smoke. He goes, I
Okay.
just can't
They
fix
said it was
that.
up to 12:30.
So pretty good.
Let's
So
go
I
for
don't,
it.
I don't start the first one.
There you go. Okay, whatever. Like, how in the heck? I was looking at my daughter's schedule online
Oh,
and she's a junior this year and she is early release. I'm like, how'd you pull that off? And she goes, I have a job, mom. And I was like, oh,
doing what?
she works at Charlotte Plumber's. Well, she always works. Like she's always volunteering to work and she's saving her money.
Good
And
for her. Yeah.
so she said, I told my counselor that I want to early release because I want to work. And I was like, so he has like 4 classes. She gets out at 12:30. I'm like, well, there you go.
That's what I did. I
You
got
get,
that. I
can
got
you
that.
get us out at 12:30?
Because we ended with
Just a simple note.
the pink highlighter people and trashy neighbor people.
I know exactly what you're talking about when you say that.
Bill, I was looking at your face earlier and you were like,
Hurts my feelings every time they bring it up. I am the trashy neighbor.
I live next to my grandma, so she's my neighbor. Then I have an empty field. I'm the other neighbor.
She keep you on the straight and narrow?
My grandma's still, she's like 87. Oh gosh, she's
and I'll bring him on in if it's all right.
It's okay.
Okay.
Not a big fan of this diet.
I didn't tell him.
Yeah, me either.
If you find it, let me know. Wait, oh, there it is.
Bottom of page 9.
Page 9.
And you're sitting in that chair there, and I'll get you set up on that track. Ready.
I mean, can I meet you in
Nice
person?
meeting you.
And Mr. Atkins, here's there's taxpayer evidence, protest form, and the ACAD evidence. So when you're doing your presentation.
That's what he's given me.
No, this is what he gave you.
Okay.
This is what we just put together.
And here is the procedure.
Yeah. well,
Howdy.
Robert, we have some administrivia that we need to go through before we get started. If you just follow along with me, I'll have some questions when I get in the end. We're opening a hearing on case number 675, account 63348. We have the appraisal review. Oh, I'm sorry, this hearing is being recorded.
And on the property appraisal, the notice of protests has Q1. checked.
We have the appraisal review board that will be hearing your protest today. We do not work for the appraisal district. The four of us are the review board. Eamon, of course, who you know, I believe, is the district representative. We are appointed to perform an independent review of your protest. At the end of the hearing, you may complete a survey regarding your experience. The survey may be completed using the survey form and emailed to ptad.communications@cpa.texas.gov or online at surveymonkey.com/r/surveyarb. Survey is voluntary. You also have the right to appeal our decision. Appeal information will be provided to you with our determination. At the end of this hearing, a document will be created with our determination of value. It will be sent to you by snail mail. Along with it will come instructions and information on how you can appeal that if you don't agree with us. In accordance with the tax code, section 4145H, all written material has not been provided, must be provided at this time. We have all your evidence has been scanned in, right?
Yes.
Okay. ARB members who are considering the protest have not communicated with anyone about the protest and are signing an affidavit to that effect. I, Charles Powers, do solemnly swear I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 4166F.
I, Robert Dayton, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
I, Bill Duck, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code 4166F.
I, Scott Wagner, do solemnly swear that I have not communicated with another person in violation of tax code section 41.66F.
All testimony from all witnesses must be given under oath.
If you'll go ahead and read that aloud and then start your name.
I do solemnly swear or affirm that the testimony I shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
And if you'll state your name.
Robert Atkins.
Raymond Burke, I do solemnly swear or affirm the testimony shall present to the appraisal review board for the Aransas County Appraisal District is true and correct.
Robert, I'm obligated to ask you if you have a appraiser's license in the state of Texas.
No.
Okay. There should, yeah, you have your hand on it. Those are the procedures, that's the procedure we're going to follow throughout the hearing. And you'll notice there's two major columns on it. And one is if you speak first, the other is if Eamon speaks first, and you get to choose who goes first.
Okay, I'll just soon get mine over with.
Okay, you have 5 minutes, state the case.
Okay, gentlemen, this taxing office is evaluating me as a storage, as a cash basis average over the storage in the area, meaning what I'm gonna make in the long term and as a investment Okay, what you guys are doing with this tax capitalization rate, you guys are comparing me to the big guys. Here's the apple tree. You're using an average capitalization rate of 7%, which isn't a fair capitalization rate to a small, out of the way, poorly run and maintained storage that had major damage and saltwater intrusion. These are companies that you're comparing me to. You're comparing me to the big dogs with automatic gates, security fences, security cameras, wall-to-wall concrete, washdown stations, etc. You're comparing me to the big dogs, to this poor little apple that got knocked off the tree in Hurricane Harvey. Somebody stepped on it and has a worm in it. Okay. Okay, on the pictures. Although I'm a flip phone kind of guy, so this is, what do I do? Up. Okay, we'll skip that one. Okay, the original purchase of the building, the land was 30 and the building itself was 43,722. That was built in 1995 and is red iron. In previous years, your depreciated red iron, I mean, metal buildings go down in value, not up. Okay, we're talking about this apple, okay, that got knocked off the tree in Hurricane Harvey. This is what it did to my building. It lifted the whole front. This is in Copano Cove, okay, on a little small narrow road. I don't have access to the big massive people like the big dogs do. Okay, it lifted these boat barns up, you know, anywhere from 1/2 inch to 3 inches. The whole front of it got lifted up. Okay, keep going through the pictures. You see how it lifted it up. It changed every door. Good looking push like Ken. It lifted the inside walls, which cracked inside walls, buckled inside walls. Now we're the bruises on this poor little apple. They got knocked down in Hurricane Harvey and got rolled around. Look at the bruises to it. This isn't a new building that you're comparing me to at the cap rate of 7%. This is, you know, building, red iron building, not the galvanized stuff that the new ones are being built out of. Look at all the bruises and dings and dents it has.
By red iron, you mean the ribs?
The sheet, the metal themselves are red iron, which you can see in the other pictures.
Okay.
Meaning it's not galvanized. I mean, it's painted red. That's what they do, is they put a red coat on it.
Okay.
Okay. You know, you could look through those and see how it buckled the walls and the ceilings and everything. Yet you're comparing me to a brand new, you know, high dollar, big dog. Wind damage. You see the doors, it took the wind blowing underneath the doors, took out all the seals on the doors. These are current pictures. Took out and bowed the doors themselves. Look at the door bowed out and lifted up, bowed out. Okay, then the worms. Remember, this poor apple hit the ground and it's got worms. Well, let's call that worms, that rust. Look at the rust. It's being eaten from the bottom up. Those that have any idea what happened over in Copano Cove, I got a foot to 1.5 feet of salt water blown in there. Okay, red iron, you know what happens on there. The red iron's eating it from the bottom up. There is no way for me to fix this without kicking everybody out. Here's a piece of my boat barns. How impressive is this? And that's what you want to do this capitalization rate on. Look farther down at the worms eating it. Okay, that's the front. The front still hasn't been rebuilt. Number one stall isn't rented. That gives me access to the electrical because, you know, even it got hit with saltwater intrusion. So you see, it doesn't have a ridge cap or anything. Water could still get in it. So on. Next, number 6 is that's one of the boat stalls that's still empty. These boat barns are owned by my father and I. Okay, we built them. That's where that original rate comes. You know, we had originally in the land and the building had approximately $85,000 in the whole thing. You know, building them and everything. There's how people do stealing.
Need to stop you for now. You'll have more time to talk later. So Amy, you got 2 minutes for rebuttal and then 5 minutes for your presentation.
So this is a boat storage, is account 63348. Last year it was certified at 235,630. This year was noticed at 235,630. It is on Lido Road in Copano Cove. It's on a triangular parcel of land. Most of that land is vacant. There is a small, comparatively, boat storage building on the end of it there. It is actively leased. It's just a little boat storage. The model for boat storages for Aransas County is based on, really, there's only 3 different subcategories. There's the full service ones like Cove Harbor with the forklifts, and then ones that really don't even have doors and are only charging $50 a month to park the boat there, which there's a couple of. Everything else lands on this spectrum, and we're doing a mass appraisal of this whole county. So this is being appraised just like every other boat storage. The rent's $4 a foot a year. Cap rate is a 7, and the excess land value is 88,319. That's where the 235 came from, and the equity grid is going to show other boat storages are all the exact same. The only thing that's going to change is square footage, which will change the value, or if there's different excess land or something, that would change the value. Any appropriate adjustments would just make literally the exact same number. Specific to this property, we talked on the phone about it. And I have to say, this is the difference between the conversation we had the first time and what you're presenting today is enormous. It's enormous. You just picked up on a lot of this stuff really fast.
Good teacher.
So you have really the only thing that I would have to ask about on your income worksheet, which you didn't even get to present yet, is why your excess land value is 75,000 instead of 88.
Because that's what it was originally taxed at,
Got it.
along with, it was originally taxed at 75,030. The way you used to do them, the boat barns were at 93,680 and it had a 54% depreciation, which made the boat barns themselves at 50,590. Which I think is generous for a building that's rotting from the bottom up. And with no way to fix it without taking the bottom foot off.
So the excess land value difference has to do with land tables changing in Copano Cove. So I wouldn't, when I'm adding excess land, I just use the local land table. The land table, we are fortunate enough to be able to do land analysis of vacant land sales. We're not always abstracting it out as a ratio. That being said, these are his actuals. What he's presented here are his actual numbers. So this is what's really happening out there. The cap rate that he's using is not like fictitious. It's completely plausible. What you end up with is a situation where you're saying this business and the real estate for this property as it sits right now is worth less than really even the rest of the land on this parcel. And if you just look at the picto of it, it's pretty obvious why. It's a great piece of land. There's a ton of deferred maintenance and stuff on the boat storage. It is leased. There are people who are willing to pay to be there. It's not what they call incurable depreciation. There's stuff that can be done to make it better. But this is a look at 2 different things. One is it's not a byproduct of mass appraisal. This is a very, very close look at just this property. The 7 cap rate for boat storages includes the fact that the huge thing on the bypass would probably transact at like a 6% cap rate. And smaller ones that need work, require more management, which is part of the cap rate, management rate, would get a lower cap rate. So we talked about that. Really, I don't think, with the exception of the difference in the excess land value, that puts the value of this property at 171. I don't think that that's wrong. I don't. I think that if you were to go buy it, you'd be talking really reasonably at saying this place is 171, and it'd probably be a pretty good buy because it has potential. But you're looking at it how it really is right now. There are a lot of boat storages. That's exactly what they did. They kicked everybody out and they fixed their stuff. And they brought everybody back in, back and better than ever. That just hasn't happened with this one in particular. It's not quite to a level of obsolescence that it's in that boat shed category. It's not quite there. But this is it's very bad practice year over year to settle income-based properties on people's actuals every single year, because you only get the actuals from the people whose values are going to be lower. You never get anybody else's actuals. And so it ends up over time, you end up where all your numbers are you're just at like 85% of what everything's supposed to be forever. So I don't have any problem with the valuation of 171.33. I would and again, the only difference between your indicated value and mine is the excess land value, and it's just because I'm not second guessing what.
Okay, can I address that?
Sure.
Okay, go up to the top, the income calculation. My average per boat stall is $83.53. I averaged it at $85. Okay, we could go in there. You're averaging 15% empty, for vacancies. Most of the other places don't have that. I do. I mean, I still have old people in there that have all the crap from the hurricane that I haven't kicked out. As far as the land value, you're seeing excess land value. Well, you're looking at it, because it has a ability to build more boat barns. But I mean, can this limited entry area with one road, small road going in, only people that are using this are the people that have a house right in there. With that much acreage, I could do, if I build 100 boat barns, there ain't 200 houses there.
Well, it's really
okay,
just that it's like an asset.
This property was bought remember the boat barns were built in 1995. It was bought from Bob Atterbury, figuring when the water comes in, city water, we can divide it up. Well, I'm not part of Copano Cove. Their water district won't give me anything except 1 3/4 water tap for the whole 9.2 acres. And there's less than 9.2 acres because I gave that corner where they make that corner, I gave that easement to the county because my land actually went into the middle of the road. Okay, so I'm sitting on a dead piece of property. Would I love to sell it? Yes, but my folks are in their upper 80s. I'm an indentured servant. I mean, I'm partnered with them. They don't want to sell it. Last time they sold something, it screwed up their Medicare, Medicaid, everything. They ended up having to pay all of that crap back and ended up, whatever they sold, they didn't make any money on. So they're saying, no, we're going to keep it and, give it to your kids. So I'm an indentured servant. Could I sell my half to somebody? Not if I ever wanted to deal with my parents. So, I mean, I think, what I showed up here at 157,745, that puts my cap rate at 10 and the condition it's in. I mean, and this building's only going downwards from here. It's not going up. I mean, there's no way, besides booting everybody out and rebuilding. I mean, I'm in this for the, spray some oil on it when one of them's vacant and do what I can to save it. And, if it wasn't for the fact that my dad and I built this and when it said add 1 screw, we put 2, they probably wouldn't be there. But I mean, here's what it's going to end up being. Okay, I could get into comparisons farther down of the big fancy boat barns, with the concrete, everything, and there's workups on them. I did a workup on this one of the last ones. Took me about 5 minutes after with all his help and showing me how this crap works. But I mean, they're at a cap rate of 7.5, and they're new bad. here they are, Boat Lodge. I mean, in 5 minutes, I called them up, they gave me what their prices were. 310 stalls, they're happy to let me know all that. Your tax rate on it, you do the calculations farther down, at the 7% cap rate, I mean, you're undercharging them $186,007, but yet you're trying to put me at a cap rate of 7. Well, these people with the current figures are at 7.5. So I don't think 10 cap rate for me would be unrealistic, if not even better than that.
Okay, gotta stop you there. You'll have some more time later. Amy, you have 2 minutes for.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I don't think that the 10% cap rate is unrealistic for this kind of property. This is a good analogy. You got the bad apple, you got the good apple, and we're doing an appraisal of every apple in Aransas County. So our number ends up being somewhere in the middle of the 2 apples. We
Okay.
try to err when possible closer to this one, just because it causes less pain to people to do that. That means this one's gonna be low, that one's gonna be high, and that is the nature of the beast. In this case in particular, again, I don't disagree with the points that he's making. It's just some are high, some are low, his high. His low.
He's doing
As
what
it
we'd
sits.
like to have on everybody.
Yeah.
So I think my income calculation worksheet, which shows everything with his calculations, comes out to what a fair market value would be.
Yep.
I think I've done my due diligence showing other barns.
He's got
And I got an apple for sale.
It's got a worm in it.
Which one do you want?
Yeah.
Law of substitution.
Is that all you have?
I mean, I could go farther, but I think we're in agreement.
Anything for closing, Amy? Okay, any final thoughts for closing?
No.
Okay.
The only difference appears between these gentlemen appears to be the $14,000 of the
Excess line.
excess land.
And where did that
So I
come
say
from?
split the difference and make it 164,745 and call it quits.
I could go for that. Yeah, because
I'm okay with that, but I don't, give me 2 seconds aiming on where 88,319 comes from.
Can I, I said the thing about the land is kind of dead land. I'm gonna end up putting cattle on it, because
That's good.
because all I'm allowed is 1 3/4 tap, so,
Cattle are good.
yeah, that's what I do.
You can run a 3/4 inch hose from my house if you want.
Hey, at the price of cows, when it walks by, you can just cut a slice off, because I'm not gonna miss it. What you pay at the grocery store isn't anything like what I get.
that's true. Yeah.
But anyway, Eamon, where's 88,319 come from?
When excess land value is added, the values pulled from 2021's land table, whatever the current year's land tables are. And I don't make a habit of second guessing our other appraisers' analysis of their work. They did their work, and I think they did a good job. So if they think that's what it should be per foot or per acre or whatever, I don't
But
get into that, because it's all I'm saying is there is excess land.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
and then I'm pointing the fact that it's kind of dead excess land.
Well, if you put ag on it.
It'll take
How many
me
acres is it?
it's 9.2 minus the corner that I gave back, or gave an easement to the county.
Can't get ag on it till it's-
It has to be 10.
And Travis County has fought that and won.
Really?
Yes.
And by the way, your comment caught my ear on wanting people to give you actuals every year. That's, to me, that's what we want.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
And yeah, you're right. The guys that you're gonna get actuals on are probably the ones that want, where it's gonna go down. Hey,
No, I
that's life.
definitely want them to provide them. I'm just saying I can't always settle it.
Yeah,
So
okay.
there's gonna be times going forward when it's kind of like, you have a weird sale and want to settle for the sale and it's like, can't
I mean,
do that,
what-
but we gotta have a hearing, how
My,
things gotta.
my actuals were 83.53.
What did you have, 164?
I mean,
And 64, 745.
I came up with
740.
164, 380, 90, or 380. It's close, but I mean, it's a couple of bucks. Oh, that's what that was from. So I used 157, 745 and 171, 033, I think is what I heard from Amy.
Oh, I didn't carry that 033.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let's just make it 64, 740.
That's fine.
Okay, so I'm gonna move in, make a motion on case ID 2021-675, account 63348. And considering Q1 incorrect appraised market value, that we lower the 2021 assessed value from $235,630 to $164,740.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, we're done. Got it.
all right. Appreciate it.
Thanks for bringing in real evidence.
Real numbers. I love it.
That's the dockets for today.
Motion be adjourned.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
We
Was that
are
my
adjourned.
pen or was, I already put in the check? Oh, I got my, I'm still in your bed.
We're gonna make